Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's Treya Tarot. This is the collective reading for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. I'm going to be using the Dark Wood Tarot today by Sasha with art by Abigail Larson. It's a shadow work deck, but I like to read it as a regular deck with certain inflections. If you like these readings, please like, comment, subscribe, and become part of the group. I love reading for everyone, so welcome in. I'm sitting here with my coffee. I woke up in a, to be honest, terrible mood, with a couple of intuitive pangs that I'm not thrilled about. So let's see what comes through. I know that there's a Mars thing happening, Mars retrograde thing happening, and there is a square somewhere in there. So I think that there's something's coming up. I'll just say that. So I've already cut the deck and shuffled in an effort not to waste time. So let's see what we have. 8 of Cups. Right. The 8 of Cups is traditionally a card of leaving something behind. But it's a card of leaving something behind because now you know what to do. Now you know where your heart is invested, where you belong, sort of thing. The 8 of Cups, though, always gives that sort of feeling of leaving behind something that you thought was something good that turned out not to be good for you. But because of the directional, now I love to point this out in cards because this is something that comes up for me a lot. The directional, image-wise, shows me a flow, and all 3 of these cards are connected visually, if you can see it. The branches up here leading into the smoke in the Page of Cups, leading into the branches of the tree in the 8 of Pentacles, and the 8s on either side. So there's an infinity loop here, literally, visually, and symbolically in the cards themselves because of the 2 8s on either side. So what you have here is pretty major in that way, in that this could be a very big fundamental personal shift coming up that may actually be, how do I say this? It may actually almost reach so far back in your experience of being alive that you don't remember the beginning of this process. So this may be something inherent to who you are as an individual that's shifting. With the Page of Cups, thought about what is fulfilling, thought about where your heart lies, what matters to you, and then the 8 of Pentacles, which is about work. So this is literally about what you're willing to invest in. These 3 cards right off the bat are, what are you leaving behind? What are you moving towards? What are you willing to invest in? What matters to you emotionally? What is fulfilling? Okay, 8 of Swords. I think I may need to turn another light on just to keep that shadow from being an issue. Okay, that should help a little bit. Hopefully everything is easier to see. Okay, the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is this card of riches and resources, and that 8 of Swords is about self-imposed restriction and bondage. So essentially there is a freedom, there is a leaving behind of a type of self-inflicted prison. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's pretty clear to me that this Mars transit is probably going to have a lot to do with the interplay between what our belief systems are, our personal belief system, and what we actually want, like what our internal truth actually wants to guide us towards. So it's pretty clear that there's some conflict between what we think is true and what is actually true. And this is important because the 9 of Pentacles tells me that everything's fine. On some level, even though everything is not fine, we are centered in some sort of stable resource-filled space. So if it's an emotional resource, it's emotional resources. If it's physical, it's physical. But for each of us, it will be a little bit different in terms of what we're confronting. But it's pretty clear that the differences between what we believe we're looking at and what is actually happening in the environment around us. The Four of Wands tells me, it's interesting. This card is such a different image than the traditional Four of Wands. Four of Wands is about a portal, right? It's about a portal through celebration. In this card, though, the imagery is about the troll under the bridge. So the shadow implication with the Four of Wands is that as you go through the transition, you must be aware of what's hiding. You must be aware of what you're hiding. That's the implication here. So what are you keeping from yourself? What are you keeping locked away? What aren't you saying? In the midst of the biggest opportunity probably ever that any of us have had to actually create lives that we actually want, what are you keeping back? Things like that. The Magician. I love the Magician in this deck. Beautiful. The Nine of Cups. Wish fulfillment, contentment. And the Five of Pentacles. This is the interplay again, kind of expressed once again here. The Magician is the creator. I love this card because of the owl and the infinity symbol, again, referencing the 2 8s on either side of that page, which is who we are in this reading. We are the page. But the Magician is where the page ends up. I know that there are cards, there are other trumps that may seem like the ultimate manifestation of enlightenment of some kind, like the High Priestess or even Temperance, anything where there's this sort of expression of balance. But the Magician for me and the High Priestess are the 2 highest in my view, mostly because one is the creator, the channel, and one is the house of the knowledge. And so with the Magician present, creating that channel, you have one of 2 things you can create here. And this is where the warning comes in, I think, that the Mars retrograde might echo. The warning here is this. You must be aware of what you're creating, that Four of Wands, that troll under the bridge. As you walk through this transition, this portal over the next week, do you want to open your heart, Nine of Cups, and get what you've always wished for? Or are you going to recreate the same thing by projecting your same insecurities all over again onto another situation or part of your life that isn't creating that scenario yet? Ooh, there are sirens in the background. So, yes, I'll just say yes. So you have a choice here. That 2 of Swords in the beginning is this choice here. The Nine of Cups or the Five of Pentacles. The Nine of Cups being your wish granted, your contentment and your happiness, and your Five of Pentacles being the standing out in the cold, experiencing the wound once again. I had a friend explain it to me the other day, yesterday maybe, as you can stay here as long as you want to, or you can change it. And that's what this week represents. You can stay in the same cycle as long as you want to, or you can get up, turn around, and decide that what you want is worth it, and make that choice. Nine of Wands, self-protection. The funny thing about this card, again, because this deck is a shadow deck, there are things about it that I find particularly interesting, like the Nine of Wands, because the Nine of Wands is dressed like a jester. Okay, the Nine of Wands is about self-protection, but the character is dressed like a demonic jester. You know, he's basically saying, "You fool." Okay, it's about what can beckon you, what can beckon you out of your shell, and whether or not you're paying attention to the truth of it, the truth of the people around you. Are you seeing people clearly? Are you seeing yourself clearly? Are you being too self-protective, or are you being self-protective enough? That's the question here. The Page of Pentacles is, what do I want to create? What do I want to bring into reality? And then the Three of Pentacles. This particular Three of Pentacles always blows my mind, because while the Three of Pentacles is about collaboration, this one shows the spiral. And for me, symbolically, the spiral represents how we revisit things over and over again from a different vantage point every time, so as to process through whatever it is we're recreating repeatedly. If you want to avoid creating the same thing, you must do something differently. You must see people clearly. I will say this. If you're looking at something and it looks just like something you've experienced before, make sure that it actually looks that way, and that it's not just your projection. Because if it is your projection, you are getting in your own way. But you need to know either way. So the next thing I'm going to ask, because I feel like this might be an important way to end off this reading. Okay, let's see what we got. I'm going to shuffle for this one. Would be how to tell. How to tell if something is different than what you know. I have a lot of hematite on the table today, on purpose. I'm trying to ground something, trying to give it a protective container. For anyone else that's feeling this kind of a nebulous, difficult feeling. Oh, okay. That top one almost fell out. Okay, Four of Pentacles. What are you withholding? Justice. Okay. So there's definitely a reference to the past here. Hanged Man energy. Okay. You must wait for your information. Okay. There's definitely a clear slow down. A clear message to slow down here. And then if you slow down, let's see, you'll find that balance. Okay, good. All right, so the way to find out the difference between what you're looking at actually and what you think it is to slow down. Slow down and allow it to show you. Page of Wands. Yeah, there's definitely, you've had all three pages have shown up for this one. And quite frankly, the pages are at the beginning. So it seems like this is a new cycle, but we think it's an old cycle. Or it's a new cycle that we're projecting the old cycle onto. So, King of Cups, messages of love. King of Pentacles. Oof. Okay. Actually, I'm about to cover it. And then the Three of Cups. Oh my God. All right. So, the King of Cups, the one who offers their heart. Bottom of the deck, Five of Wands. The difficult battle, the stalemate, the conflict. All right. Well, conflict is Five of Swords, but the Five of Wands is that sort of a frustration, I would say, that frustration with others, that inability to get past an impasse. The King of Cups and the King of Pentacles are the two opposing realities, how we feel and what we see, what we're creating outside, and what our hearts actually want. So you have this sort of Three of Cups is interesting there too as well, because there's a triangulation. Okay. The Three of Cups is celebratory. It's a party. It's getting together with the people you care about the most and just loving everything about life. Okay. Together, expressing that together, right? The King of Cups and the King of Pentacles and you or me or anyone who resonates with this is in a triangulation. It is the heart and the heart and the animal in us. I don't want to say the heart and the mind, because swords are mind, but the King of Cups here represents that which we love. And the King of Pentacles here is that which we create. And the Three of Cups tells me that we have to integrate the three. We have to integrate ourselves with both influences. We cannot put them or pit them at odds anymore. If we are going to continue to pit them against each other, the heart and the reality, that's when the Temperance influence doesn't do its job. So essentially here, if you look at this, you have the thought about what actually feels good, the thought about what's passionate within us, what drives us, what inspires us. And then we have the heart and the reality. So what we want and what we're living, centered by balance, the Temperance card, and then the Three of Cups. We are in a triangulated experience. We must learn how to create what's in our heart on our outsides. Okay? The self-protective Four of Pentacles energy from the last pull can't flow anymore in that direction. That's what the Eight of Cups is about. So we are leaving behind the withholding. We are leaving behind the projections. We are leaving behind something, or we have the choice to anyway, to leave behind something that actually keeps impeding us in finding the thing that we are working so hard to create or find or experience. So it's funny. Threes will come up. I can feel that as well. So if you have a triangulated relational situation, expect to have to confront it. But you get to make your choice, and that's where your power lies. So have a good week. I'll be back probably tomorrow, but have a good day. If you have any comments or thoughts, leave them in the comment section, and I will see you soon.